In a post on Truth Social today, the man who has previously stated that he will bring peace to the entire world proclaimed himself as the President of Peace. His post reads, "Just spoke to the acting Prime Minister of Thailand and Prime Minister of Cambodia. I am pleased to announce that after the involvement of President Donald J. Trump," he's referring to himself in the third person right here, "both countries have reached a ceasefire and peace. Congratulations to all. By ending this war, we have saved thousands of lives. I instructed my trade team to restart negotiations on trade. I have now ended many wars in just 6 months. I am proud to be the President of Peace." So this is what Trump has been telling everyone, that he will bring peace to the entire world. And I've made other videos about this. He's actually been talking about bringing a worldwide peace since the mid-1980s. And I'll put a link down below to a couple of those more in-depth videos about that. But he does want to be known as the Great Peacemaker. He thinks he can do this deal where nobody else can. He followed up that post on Truth Social with another post where someone said that he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize, even though the left will never admit it. So not only is Trump constantly promoting himself to win the Nobel Peace Prize, the concept of being the only one who can bring peace to the entire world is something he's talked about for 40 years. What makes all of this interesting is the fact that Donald Trump lines up with the biblical descriptions for the Antichrist in many ways, and one of them has to do with how there will be a great counterfeit peace in the world before sudden destruction comes. That understanding is based on a few different verses. In 1 Thessalonians, we read the following, "For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them." So the Bible is telling us that there is coming a time of great peace, so much so that people will say, "We have peace and safety. At last we finally have security." But then it will be broken with destruction. This comes from Daniel 9:27, which reads, "And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week." The "he" in this verse is a reference to the Antichrist. And here's how we know. The previous verse, Daniel 9:26, says, "The people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary." The people that destroyed the city and the sanctuary were the Romans in 70 AD. The prince that shall come is referenced in the next verse, Daniel 9:27. He is the one that confirms the covenant with many for 1 week. These two verses together, Daniel 9:26 and 9:27, tell us that the Antichrist comes out of the Roman Empire, the fourth beast of Daniel. But getting back to Daniel 9:27, "And he," the Antichrist, "shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week." And then what happens? The rest of that verse reads, "And in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease." The midst of that week is the middle of the final 7 years. It is Daniel's 70th week. The Antichrist breaks his own covenant and enters the Holy Land. We read in Daniel 11:41, "He shall enter also into the glorious land, and many countries shall be overthrown. But tidings out of the east and out of the north shall trouble him. Therefore he shall go forth with great fury to destroy, and utterly to make away many." These prophecies of Daniel relate to the end times, and we know that because Jesus himself referenced Daniel in Matthew 24:15, when he said, "When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place." Jesus was answering a question from his disciples about what would be the signs of his coming and of the end of the world. So we have Jesus referencing the prophecies of Daniel as relating to the sign of his second coming and the end of the world. And all these prophecies lead up to the final 3.5 years, in which the Antichrist is given 42 months to continue. That is the Great Tribulation. But it's important to understand that when we hear Donald Trump talk about bringing peace to the entire world, he is going to be successful at doing that. But it is a temporary, fake peace. And sudden destruction comes because the Antichrist breaks his own covenant and brings destruction to all. That's what sets up the final 3.5 years. So Donald Trump is going to bring peace and safety to the entire world, but not too long after that, he's also going to bring sudden destruction.